Hello, and welcome to Cannabis is Not the Answer. It has been quite a while since I made any videos to this channel, and I now feel pretty fired up for making some videos to this channel again and sharing some of these messages of healing and also about what is going on in the world right now. But today I want to make a somewhat of a personal share a personal story in which I think there lies somewhat of a healing message also. Because I've been, the last 77 days, I have not consumed any cannabis products, neither CBD or THC or anything like that. And that is because anyone who knows me knows how important I think it is to get out of any type of addiction. Because an addiction is basically that we're seeking in the outside world what we are not able to give to ourselves. So the more we are getting out of this addiction, the more we can cultivate this wholeness, this healing, and with that freedom within ourselves. And without that freedom, we cannot give that freedom to the world. Also, in relation to what is going on in the world right now. So the most important thing we can do in all of this is to work on our own freedom and our love to ourselves. And this is how we get rid of the fear and all the lack of freedom. Or we at least get an instrument ourselves to be able to do that. And I figured out a while ago, I realized that I have been using cannabis to either meditational purposes or to work on this entire message, because cannabis is in Danish, and I think in German also it is called, like, it's a consciousness expanding substance. So you get to see things from a higher perspective, but you don't want to get addicted to something of the outside world. I mean, you're getting to the realization that everything is consciousness and life is just a reflection, and then you're getting addicted to the reflection to give it to you. It makes it did make no sense to me. So I figured out that, okay, I need to get this completely out of my system. And I researched, and it was like 62 to 77 days. So I figured out, okay, 77 days sounds like a good number, also like spiritually wise. And also because it is 11 weeks. So even while it is, call it also a spiritual calling and a spiritual motivation and these spiritual numbers, it is as much a physical thing. And to get out of addictions and to get into the body and to give to yourself what you so far have been, reaching out for. It doesn't matter if it's substances or validation, or if it doesn't matter what it is. Healing lies in, being able to being whole. Yeah, that you're not addicted. You're not reaching out for the outside world to complete you. So it's been a very interesting process for me. It was not that difficult because I was not addicted to cannabis in that sense. I used it once or twice a month, but I felt like 3 times throughout this period, like, now, and one time really, but that was really what I felt. It was to suppress something. I was really challenged, and I knew that, okay, if I wasn't in this period or this challenge now, I would definitely reach out for cannabis. But I also knew that, wow, it's important that I don't reach out now. To feel that pain right now, that is healing, and it's always like that. As soon as we are reaching out to the outside world to handle our inner pain, this is when we are getting away from ourselves. This is when we are no longer whole. So that means when we're no longer whole, we will afterwards need healing, because we're getting out of that ease and we're getting towards this ease. And that is really, as I see it, the most important thing, to be willing to go through this discomfort of withdrawal. So a couple of times it was challenging, but when we are motivated by that pain, you know, okay, now the pain is coming up, okay, this is healing now. That makes it way easier, because for one, you're no longer a victim, and you are not in the sense of things ought to be different, because that is the whole essence of fear. Fear is, it starts when you think that things should be different, or could have been different, or should turn out differently as they are seeming to do. Love is a full allowance of this moment, and this is why there's no healing with fear, because it is about allowing who you truly are and what has been and what ought to come. So today is day 78, and instead of getting high, I've decided to go on a 2-day dry fast. So I'm dry fasting today and tomorrow. And for people who don't know what a dry fast is, you might have heard about water fasting. A water fast is where you only drink water, where you stop consuming any kind of calories. And there's a lot of healing going on there. And that's, again, because you're cutting all kinds of addictions. So the pain you're going through in a water fast is the pain of finding within yourself what you so far have been, reaching out for or looked for within the world, or found a substitute in the world. And it's not only eating. Can be gambling, can be going to work, it can be, talking to other people, whatever. It doesn't matter. If it is something that you truly feel you need, but you don't know it's not a need, but then that is something that might be the cause of, if you have a disease. I know people who have done water fasts a long time and been working at the same time and not had any healing. And as soon as they stopped working, whoa, all of a sudden all this pain came up. And that is why Moses and Jesus and all these people have been fasting alone in nature, because there's nothing in nature to project your shit onto. So it all arises within yourself. And we're going through that pain, feeling it and coming to terms with it, allowing it, accepting this painful, hurtful past, or whatever it is, or the scenario that you think should have been different. But by allowing it as it was, and as it still somehow, is within yourself, this is when you can change your relationship to it. And this is when healing can take place. And that is when you detach yourself from it, because you're not relying on the outcome of that anymore, because you're finding everything within yourself. And the more you do that, the more you heal, and the more powerful you become. And people can feel that, the vibration you have, the energy you have, when you no longer need anything out here, and you're complete. That energy is something that is really, really healing, and it's really, really appealing also to a lot of other people. So 2-day dry fast now, and then a couple of days after, it is coincidentally enough the 20th of April, 420. So I'm considering going a day into nature with Mary Jane, but we'll see how it feels on the day. But for now, I'm really, really happy for the process. And it is always like that. If you're not willing to go through discomfort, if you're not willing to let go of whatever you are, using for some sort of comfort, or whatever is, deep, what is harming you, what is not good for you, if you're not willing to let go of that, then you might not heal. And it is oftentimes the thing you the least would like it is. The last stone to turn. And it is painful in the beginning. But the more you go through it, it's not necessarily suffering. Suffering is only if you have your resistance to the pain. if you allow the pain, people know that who have been working out or doing a lot of things. Also, I remember when I first started, going raw. In the beginning, it was, really painful. But after a while, it just felt so good, and then after a while, you don't want anything else than to give something good to yourself. You don't feel like harming yourself anymore, because you are no longer running from that side of yourself or from these emotions. So it's only when we are trying to, if there's something we don't want to face, then we are basically distracting ourselves with something that is harmful. And that is why, one of the reasons why fasting is so healing. And a dry fast is not to drink anything or not to eat anything, and basically stop consuming the outside world. So it is. I've had my goal now is 2.5 days. I mean 60 hours for dry fast, and I have had 5 days or 120-hour dry fast. So it is not that challenging anymore. For me, it's just to get a clean cut again from anything, and yeah. So I mean, if you do this the first time, it might be challenging sitting here listening to this water, but I just appreciate it because I appreciate the process, and I wouldn't want it to be any other way. So, and most people realize that the more often time you do these kind of various healing protocols, the more appealing it gets, because you have tasted the carrot, you know how good it feels. So the first time can be really challenging. You just want to go back to the comfort, back to the stimulation, and back to the dis-ease basically. But the more you are realizing you're going towards the ease, to the love, to the inner peace, to health, the more motivating it gets. And it's a really, we call it, beautiful struggle, even though the more often time you do, you're no longer really struggling. So yeah, this was it. So now we're back at it. Cannabis is not the answer, and I have a lot of different things to share on this channel, and especially also about what is going on in the world right now. And my main message is that we cannot give to the world what we are not ourselves. So liberate yourself from addiction, learn to love yourself, to being able to get the darkness into the light. As above, so below. As without, so within. Peace.